lower your voice, dim your light, because this is not just a story. This is a memory the earth refused to forget. They say when a sin is buried without truth, it does not rot, it waits. Tonight you will hear about a village where the ground learned a name and repeated it for 15 years, until the owner returned. This is the story of Aku Village, and the man who buried more than a body. Aku Village was old, older than maps, older than the stories people told their children. During the day, women laughed loudly. Men argued about harvests. Children chased goats through dust. But at night, Aku became something else. The wind slowed. Fireflies hovered longer than normal. And the earth listened. There was a place nobody walked past after sunset. The old cassava fields. Not because of spirits, but because something once happened there, and the ground never healed. Every elder knew. Every ancestor remembered. Yet no one spoke. Because in Aku, silence was survival. Eo was not born evil. He was curious, quick to laugh, quick to anger. He and F were inseparable. Two boys bound by dust and dreams. They swore brotherhood under the Irako tree. They promised to protect each other until their bones returned to the earth. But promises are fragile things. One afternoon, under a cruel sun, jealousy entered like a visitor nobody noticed. A girl, a word, a shove, and then silence. The kind of silence that changes lives. The well had always been there. It did not scream. It did not protest. It simply opened its mouth. When F fell in, the water closed calmly, as if it had been waiting. Eo froze. He could have screamed. He could have called help. Instead, fear whispered faster than conscience. And fear won. That day, Eo learned something terrible. The world does not always punish immediately. Night fell. A sack. Stones. Shaking hands. Eo fed the well what it did not ask for. When the sack disappeared beneath the water, the earth sighed and accepted the lie. For years, the village searched, prayed, mourned. F's mother slowly lost her voice from crying. Eo stayed, smiled, lived, and the earth waited. Eo left Aku eventually. Cities are good at hiding ghosts. Noise drowns memory. Light blinds guilt. But every night, every single night, he dreamed of water, of bubbles, of hands reaching up, that never reached the surface. When Eo returned, the earth shifted. The Irako tree creaked. Dogs refused to look at him. That night, the drums began, not played by hands, but by the ground itself. Boom, boom, boom. Funeral rhythm. The buried sin had awakened. Blood eggs, backward streams. Children speaking with old voices. Mama Idu threw her cowries. They scattered wildly. The earth is angry, she said, and it knows the liar. Her eyes rested on Eo. The land had finally spoken his name. Before the village, under the moon, Eo broke. He told the truth. When the well was opened, and the sack pulled out, the wind screamed. The drums stopped. Balance demanded payment. Not death, but a lifetime of atonement. Eo did not run again. He stayed. He served the village, cared for F's mother, spoke to the earth every night. The land slowly forgave, but never forgot. Today Aku is peaceful, but elders still say, do not bury sins, confess them, because the earth hears everything. And somewhere beneath the soil, a lesson sleeps, waiting for the next liar. For 3 months, Aku village slept peacefully. No backward streams, no blood-filled eggs, no whispers in children's mouths. People smiled again. They said, the earth has accepted the sacrifice. But Mama Idu did not smile, because peace that arrives too suddenly often hides something underneath. At night, she heard footsteps circling the Irako tree. Slow, measured, patient, not restless, waiting. Eo's dreams shifted. No more water, no more bubbles. Instead, he dreamed of walking behind himself, of seeing his own back, of following his own footprints. And every time he tried to catch up, the dream Eo would whisper, you buried me once. You will bury me again. He woke each time with dirt under his fingernails. Real dirt. It began with a child named Nayli. She stopped playing, stopped laughing. She started sitting under the irako tree at dusk. When her mother asked why, Nayli answered in a voice too old for her throat. "I am waiting for my brother." The village froze. Nayli had no brother. Mama Edu felt the earth tighten. Something was using memory as a doorway. One morning, a long crack appeared behind the cassava fields. Not wide, but deep. When stones were dropped, no sound returned. The elders argued. Some said it was natural. Mama Edu said nothing. She knelt, pressed her ear to the ground, and heard breathing. Not struggling, not angry, learning. Truth arrived like a blade. Another elder confessed. Then another. The village learned something terrifying. F was not the only one buried by silence. The well had been fed before. Children, women, travelers. Not always with hands. Sometimes with lies. Aku was not cursed by one sin. It was built on many. And now the earth wanted reckoning. At night, villagers heard their names called. Not screamed. Spoken gently. The dead were not angry. They were tired. Mama Edu declared the truth. The earth is full. It can no longer carry what we refuse to speak. A ritual was needed. Not of blood, but of memory. A fire burned at the village center. One by one, people stepped forward. They spoke names, mistakes, berries, silences. The ground trembled softly, not violently, like a sigh of relief. But when Ao stepped forward, the earth shook harder, because his sin was the key that opened the door. Mama Edu turned to Ao. "You can seal this," she said, "but not without cost. He must become the watcher of the ground. Never leave, never lie again, never turn away from truth. A living anchor." Ao accepted, because some debts are paid with breath, not blood. Years passed. Aku healed. But visitors noticed something strange. A man always sat beneath the irako tree, listening, waiting. When children asked who he was, elders replied, "He is the one who remembers, so we don't have to bury anything again." And deep beneath the village, the earth finally slept. But lightly, Ao grew older beneath the irako tree. His hair turned the color of ash. His eyes stayed sharp but tired. Every night he listened. At first, the earth spoke softly. Small tremors, gentle sighs. But as years passed, the whispers changed. They no longer came from below. They came from behind him. Sometimes he felt breath on his neck. Sometimes footsteps matched his own. When he turned, nothing. But the ground beneath the irako was warm. Always warm. The child was born during a moonless night. No cry, no blood, just silence. The midwife stepped back, trembling. "This one arrived listening," she whispered. They named the child Sola. From infancy, Sola refused to sleep indoors. She crawled toward soil, toward roots, toward shadows. When she learned to speak, her first word was not mother. It was a name no one had spoken aloud in years. F. The ground stirred. Sola began to speak at night. Not screaming, not crying, reciting. Names, dates, places no one remembered admitting existed. Graves without markers. Stories without witnesses. Mama Edu returned from her hut one night, pale. "The earth has found a mouth," she said, "and it is young enough not to refuse." Oh felt it then. His role was ending, and endings demand replacements. Peace broke quietly. An elder slipped and fell near the cassava fields. His body was found twisted, as if the ground had pulled him. When they tried to lift him, his fingers were buried deep in the soil, clawing, begging. The earth had not killed him. It had claimed him, and now it wanted more. Mama Edu revealed the truth at last. The well was never cursed. It was a door. Every lie fed it. Every silence widened it. And Ao's sin? That was the key that unlocked everything. The earth was no longer angry. It was organized. There was only one solution, not a sacrifice, a binding. The village must choose someone. to carry the voices permanently, not listen, contain. Mama Idu warned them, this will not end the whispers. It will only trap them. The earth trembled violently that night. It knew a decision was coming. Before the elders could decide, Sola walked alone to the Irako tree. Eo followed. The ground split. Not wide, just enough. Roots wrapped around Sola's ankles, not hurting. Claiming. Eo understood. The earth did not want the guilty anymore. It wanted the innocent who could remember for generations. Eo knelt. For the first time in decades, the earth spoke clearly. You open the door. She will keep it. Eo lay beneath the Irako tree and closed his eyes. When the sun rose, he did not. The ground settled. Sola stood still, eyes calm, voice quiet. The earth had a new guardian. And Aku village learned the final truth. Some sins do not die. They are inherited. The morning Eo died, the sun rose gently, too gently. Birds sang as if nothing had changed. Children laughed. But the elders knew. When the earth takes a watcher, it does not celebrate. It waits. Eo was buried beneath the Irako tree. No drum, no chant, only soil, and silence thick enough to taste. Sola stood nearby, not crying, not moving, listening. Days passed. Sola changed. She stopped eating food cooked over fire. She preferred fruits pulled directly from the ground. Raw, unwashed. Her footprints sometimes appeared. Before she stepped. When people spoke lies near her, their tongues went numb. When elders argued, the ground beneath them cracked softly. Mama Idu whispered to the council. She is no longer only a child. She is a mouth. One night Sola spoke. Her voice carried across the village. Without effort, she named every remaining secret, every betrayal, every silent burial, every stolen life. People fell to their knees. Some cried. Some screamed. One man ran. The earth opened beneath his feet. Not violently, gently, and closed again. That was the last time anyone tried to hide. Mama Idu understood too late. The earth did not want endless confession. It wanted closure. There could not be a watcher forever. There could not be a mouth forever. Balance demanded one final act. Not blood. Not death. Severance. The well had to be sealed completely. Not with stones, but with memory. At midnight the village gathered. No fire. No drums. Only breath. Sola stood at the well. The earth trembled beneath her bare feet. Mama Idu spoke slowly. You have carried enough. Are you willing to release it? Sola nodded. She knelt, pressed her palms into the soil, and spoke the words no one expected. I forgive you. The ground shook violently. The well collapsed inward, not as destruction, but as closure. The earth screamed once, then fell silent, forever. When dawn came, the cassava fields were flat. No cracks, no warmth, just soil. Sola slept for 3 days. When she woke, she was just a child again. Hungry, confused, human. Mama Idu died that same morning. Smiling. Her work was done. Years later, travelers asked about Aku village. They were told, nothing strange happens here. And that was true. But elders still warned their children. Do not bury sins. Speak them, or the earth will teach your children for you. Beneath the Irako tree, nothing stirs anymore. But if you listen closely, on very quiet nights, you may hear the ground breathe. Not angry, not hungry, just aware. What is buried without truth never stays buried. Silence does not erase wrongs, it passes them on. When people hide their sins, the innocent carry the weight. This story teaches us that truth brings peace, but delay makes the price heavier. Speak while you can. Make peace while you are alive. Because the earth remembers everything,